Hello guys, welcome to another Empires video. In this case, I spun the wheel and I landed on the little country of El Salvador in Central America. Now, you may be asking me, country's banana, why on earth did you choose this country? It was very simple, because of a wheel. But if we want this country to succeed, we need to rewind. Okay? This is when Mexico was great and large and great, like that. So, because of this, they will get back their land and around Texas and all that stuff. Back from America. Like that. And no, I am not the Texas nationalist, but this is needed for a vital change. So this is when Mexico was like this, like that. When Mexico was like this, and because of this, there was this very unknown country back then. Sorry, my little sister is bugging me. Okay, back to it. So, our country of El Salvador, will go back, way back, to this unknown country known as the Central American Federation. Yeah, I believe that's what it's called. Where it encompassed all of Central America except for Mexico. So yeah, it got all of this land. So once again, I need to get rid of these guys. So yeah, it encompassed all of this land except for Panama. It went to Grand Colombia. So yeah, and I'm just going to do some quick border touch-ups. So yeah, it went to Grand Colombia, which included Venezuela and Ecuador, like that. So yeah, Grand Colombia. So this was the Central American Federation, and to make it fair, so I have rewinded all the way back here. So yeah, this is where our story is going to start, and this is where we're going to start doing some empire building. Okay, first things first. When the Mexican-American War kicks off, and be very aware that Russia owns Alaska right now, because the U.S. did not own Alaska yet at this time. Mexico will be getting invaded by its two neighbors of America. So because of this, I'm going to color them green. So the Nicaraguan, so the El Salvadors will join in and jump Mexico. Okay? So of course America is going to do most of the heavy lifting, because the Central American Federation, I believe that's what it's called, is incredibly weak and is currently trying to deal with not fracturing. So America is doing most of the heavy lifting in the main deserts of Mexico, around here, around Texas, and up through here. They're mainly going to get ground over here, and after the Texan Revolution, they were to get a lot more ground in Texas, like that. So I believe this was the borders of Texas back then. It controlled this, but it claimed a lot more. And now the Nicaraguans will jump these guys down in the south. After this, they will successfully capture the southern areas around here, successfully encircling these guys and eventually getting rid of them, and also encircling the Yucatan, which quickly breaks away from Mexican control, because fun fact, the Yucatan was actually not under Mexican control during the Mexican-American War, because the Yucatan broke away, then Mexico surrendered to the Americans, then Mexico invaded the Yucatan and regained it. So yeah, after the loss of the Yucatan, and these guys are able to push across this isthmus and break the Mexican line, which all the Mexican forces are currently occupied or trying to beat America in the desert. So yeah, the Americans are able to continue pushing into Mexico like that. They're slowly pushing like that, but there's massive Mexican resistance, and these guys realize it. So in order to get a better grip on Mexico and to have like a better port from America and to like get more control of the Caribbean, they will invade the Yucatan. So they'll start pushing around Belize and quickly start capturing the south, and then start pushing around the coast to eventually try and capture the capital. And then they start pushing in and pushing in and pushing in. These guys actually put up a lot of fight and do a massive last stand around this last city, but resistance is futile, as eventually the Yucatan people end up surrendering because the Yucatan actually broke away because they have a strong Mayan culture. So yeah, after this, Mexico City is right over here. So Americans start blitzing through like that and start pushing over like that, and then and these guys continue to push, and this is also the same time when Hawaii was independent. That's why it's not there. So yeah, and they continue to push until they're able to cause the Mexicans and to like start putting actual men into their front. So therefore, the Americans are actually able to capture Mexico City and cause the surrendering of Mexico. Time to rewind. Okay. I found out this handy dandy feature where you could just rewind like that. So of course the Americans are going to take a massive chunk, and because they realize that Nicaragua is here, they don't want to be let Nicaragua, the Central American Federation. You know what? I'll just call it Central America at this point. And they will succeed, and then the Americans will choose to annex more of northern Mexico, including Baja California. So this is what the Americans end up getting from their peace deal, and yeah, so they successfully get rid of this, and I will get rid of this. We'll successfully get all of this land from Mexico. Time to set it to white. So yeah, and then the very south will go to these guys. So yeah, all around except for Mexico City, which will not in fact going to them. So basically Mexico becomes this massive like very small country basically around Mexico City, and Mexico City alone, like that. So I'm not very good with geography in Central and North America, even though I actually live in North America, shockingly. I'm mainly good at geography in Asia and Africa, along with Europe. So yeah, if you ask me like what is the mountain range in eastern Turkey, which is a very one that barely any people know, it's called the Taurus mountain range that spans through here. So yeah, I'm good at European geography. So after Mexico becomes this massive anarchist lump state, these guys have more ideas. Because of the collapse of Gran Colombia and America's interest in Panama, there are several new countries popping out, most notably a big Ecuador, along with Panama, like much larger Panama around here, and then right over and right, and then a massive Venezuelan one right over around here. And after that, because of all this territorial loss, Colombia is basically just like a small little state in all of South America. Not really small because of the Amazon territories, like here and here, that's it. So after this, Central America realizes this is their chance to fight Panama, and then since they know that they'll probably have to fight the Americans, they ally with Mexico because Mexico wants at least its core territory back. they also ally with the Spanish, who wants Florida back, because let's just say, for simplification, they want Florida back because of new regime changes. So yeah, okay. There will also be France, like that. And this is a much, and I mean much, simplified world, because I'm not going to spend the whole episode turning it back to realistic. So yeah, I'm going to only turn the things that are realistic for this episode. So after the support of France and Spain, these guys are able to push into here and successfully start capturing Panama. And the US can't do anything because of pressure from the great powers and the fact that there's a mounting resentment from the South States until the American Civil War kicks off. And since there's so much more slave states, there's actually a massive chance for these guys. So yeah, so the American Civil War kicks out. The Americans will be painted blue, and the Confederates will be painted purple, because it's a mix of blue and red, and I can't color it red. I'm going to make it pure red. So yeah, the Confederate States of America is currently busy fighting America during the American Civil War. And they're also able to make massive gains because they caught the Americans by surprise, because the Americans weren't expecting this. So they're able to make massive pushes across, and even capture Washington, D.C. But after British aid coming in, because this is a war against slavery, they're quickly able to take Washington back and even push further and capture Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the Confederate States. So yeah. While this is happening, these guys are able to continue pushing into Panama and eventually capture Panama City before Panama capitulates. Because Panama is not the great power it is now due to it not having the Panama Canal. And after that, these guys are starting to turn in and to start capturing these areas, as they cannot really capture the main areas over here, but France and Spain have interest on retaking Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So with the Central American help, Spain will successfully retake Haiti, like that, and start pushing into the Dominican Republic, like that, and eventually retake it over with Spanish support, right? And yeah. I don't know. Sorry, this timeline is so inaccurate because I'm just trying to rush everything, and if I want these guys to eventually capture them. So anyway, after Mexico becomes more and more reliant on the Central Americans are successfully able to capture it. And sorry, this is so unrealistic because the Mexican American War happened earlier, but I don't think the American Civil War is supposed to happen this early. And after a while, after the Americans are starting to able to push in, and they are starting able to push back and regain their territory from the Confederates after shock quickly subsides. So yeah, and after a while, these guys make an intervention to join, and they start pushing out the Confederates, because the Confederates didn't actually realize that these guys were going to come in, since all their divisions are up here, not defending it. So because of that, the Spanish are also able to make a landing in Florida, taking Florida, and its long panhandle that they used to own, along with more bits of Louisiana, like that. And they also have dreams of expanding, which they quickly do, because their goal is to expand into parts of British America and also Louisiana. So after this, after the massive naval invasion and the massive spearheading around Baja California. Sorry, I meant to make it look something like this. After they really wanted to get this big encirclement, like that, they successfully do, and then they quickly capture, and then eventually capture all the way up to here. So yeah. After that, they are able to go here, and also here. Before these guys quickly capitulate under all this immense stress. So yeah, so the borders are going to be quickly redrawn. Well, the borders are going to mainly follow the occupied territory, except for the fact that America will get slightly more. Yeah, like we'll get more of the occupied territory, like that, because America will leverage their power and their hegemony. So yeah, America will gain this part and this part while sacrificing this part to these guys, like that, and also sacrificing this part to these guys because these guys want more of a stronger coastline. And yeah, I think I'll end it here. This was an extremely short episode, but I hope you enjoy because this was it. And yeah, sorry for this being so short. The reason why it's so short is because I wanted to do a quick filler episode to give you guys some content while I'm getting ready because I have a lot of classes. So goodbye. Wait, well, okay, yeah.